Okay, picture this. An emperor, right at the peak of his power. He's looking around thinking, where next? He wants to expand, maybe even, walk in the footsteps of the legends before him. But what happens when that ambition slams into, well, reality? Huge distances, resistance on the ground.
Yeah.
Today we're doing a deep dive into a piece of Roman history that often gets overlooked a bit. It's based on the article, Rome's Brief Babylonian Conquest under Trajan, our mission. To really unpack Emperor Trajan's massive but ultimately very short-lived attempt to grab Babylon back in the early 2nd century CE. We'll get into why he did it, the strategic thinking, or lack thereof maybe, how they actually won it so easily at first, and then crucially why Rome's control just evaporated, almost like a blink of an eye, historically speaking.
Yeah, it's a fascinating moment.
So you're about to hear how this city, already ancient beyond measure, became this stage for Rome being incredibly ambitious, but also maybe getting a bit humbled. As we go through this, maybe think about what stands out to you when you consider the sheer scale of imperial ambition.
What's really interesting is where Babylon was at this point when Trajan showed up. It wasn't exactly Nebuchadnezzar's powerhouse anymore.
Right, long past its prime.
Definitely. After Nebuchadnezzar, you had Cyrus the Great taking over, then Alexander the Great. Alexander even thought about making it his eastern capital briefly before he died there. But after him, its importance just faded, power shifted. It got swallowed up by the Seleucids, one of Alexander's general's kingdoms.
The Hellenistic period, yeah.
Exactly. And then later, the Parthians took it over, this major Iranian power, but their focus wasn't really on Babylon itself. The article puts it nicely. By Trajan's time, it was more a relic of its former glory. Think of like a grand old city that's now mostly a historical site, still impressive maybe, but not a center of actual power.
Okay, so if it's already kind of a ghost of its past glory, that makes Trajan's decision even more curious. Why look so far east, push beyond the known borders for a city that's, well, declining?
Yeah, good question. If you zoom out a bit, Trajan's thinking was multifaceted. This is the early 2nd century CE, remember? Rome wants to push east. Why? Well, partly to secure trade routes, those vital economic lifelines.
Makes sense.
And partly to challenge the Parthians. They were the big rivals on the eastern frontier.
Always the Parthians.
Right. So in 115 CE, Trajan launches this big Mesopotamian campaign. He moves pretty carefully, actually, sets up garrisons, secures his flanks. He even uses a pincer movement attacking from 2 directions with General Lucius Quietus.
Okay, smart tactics.
And it worked initially. They grabbed key cities like Nisibis, Batnai, important hubs for trade, defense. This basically led to Rome creating a whole new province, Mesopotamia.
Right. So they've established this new province, secured these key points,
Yeah.
which makes it even stranger maybe that he then pivots to Babylon in 116 CE. If its strategic value was already low, what was the real pull? Was there any practical benefit left, or was it purely about Alexander?
And that's the crux of it, isn't it? The article is pretty clear. Trajan didn't go for Babylon because it was strategically vital anymore. No, the motivation seems overwhelmingly symbolic. He wanted to wrap himself in the mantle of Alexander the Great. It was about legacy. And taking Babylon, it was surprisingly easy, precisely because it was politically weak, run down.
So the lack of resistance almost proved its diminished status.
Exactly. Once Rome declared it part of their new province, Trajan took it a step further. He actually planned a sacrifice at the very spot where Alexander died.
Wow. That's not subtle.
Not at all. It's a direct line he's drawing. Look at me, I'm walking in Alexander's footsteps. A huge statement of ambition using history itself.
A massive symbolic power play then. Not about controlling a key city, but about controlling the narrative. But as we know, it didn't stick. How does something that seemed initially relatively straightforward just unravel so fast?
Yeah, despite Rome trying to put down roots, they set up some fortifications, apparently even started working on roads, the usual Roman administrative stuff.
Standard procedure?
Their grip just slipped quickly. The article flags a few key reasons. 1, persistent local resistance. People didn't just roll over.
Understandable.
2, supply lines. We talked about the distance. Trying to supply troops that far out. Huge problems, severe shortages. And 3, simple military overextension. They just stretched their forces too thin across this vast new territory.
A classic imperial dilemma.
Absolutely. Then, to top it off, in 117 CE, Trajan's health starts failing badly. This basically forces him to start peace talks with the Parthians, and then his successor, Hadrian, comes in.
Hadrian. Known for consolidating, not expanding.
Precisely. Hadrian takes a look at the situation in Mesopotamia and makes a very different call. He decides to abandon it completely.
Yeah.
Pull back. Focus on defending the borders Rome already had.
Wow. So after all that effort, all that symbolism, just walk away.
Yep. Consolidate rather than maintain this really difficult, distant conquest.
So this grand push east, this echo of Alexander, it ends with a strategic retreat. That must have been quite a moment, quite a blow to Roman prestige, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely. It was seen as a bit of a humiliation for Rome, definitely. Ironically, though, it gave the Parthians a bit of breathing room, even though they were also kind of in decline by then.
Interesting. So a temporary pause in the Rome-Parthia conflict.
Temporary is the key word. The struggle for dominance in the East wasn't over, not by a long shot. Just a few decades later, you get the rise of the Sassanids and a new Persian dynasty.
Right, replacing the Parthians.
Exactly. And they pick up that intense rivalry with Rome, which lasts for centuries. So Rome's brief little adventure in Babylon, it really stands as this stark example of how hard it is to hold distant lands. Even for an empire like Rome, considered one of the greatest, the challenges were immense.
So thinking about the big picture then, what does this short chapter, this Roman moment in Babylon, really tell us about power, about empire building?
Well, I think it really underscores how even the most powerful empires can get tripped up. Grand gestures like Trajan trying to connect himself to Alexander. They look great on paper, maybe, but they can fall apart really fast when they hit the hard realities. Logistics, local resistance, just the sheer difficulty of it all.
So practicalities trump symbolism in the end.
Often, yeah. This whole episode is just a powerful reminder, I think, that even the biggest ambitions can be humbled by very practical limits. And it happened in Babylon, a city already kind of faded, which makes it even more pointed, maybe.
Indeed. It's a testament, isn't it? That winning a battle or even taking a legendary city doesn't automatically mean lasting control. Sometimes the grandest designs just get undone by the mundane realities on the ground. So thinking about all this, Rome's quick conquest and even quicker withdrawal from Babylon, what enduring lessons does that offer you? About chasing power, maybe?
Yeah.
Or the weight that history carries? Or perhaps just the unexpected limits that even the greatest plans can run into? Something to think about.